Also tonight we have someone that I look up to in ministry, who is a mentor, a friend, a leader, a good friend of my pastor. He has a large heart, and he can relate across the divide. So he relates with those of us who are still, much younger than he is, and he is, by the grace of God, an extension of the grace of God on his life that brought Dr. Chand to this place tonight. I'm talking about none other but the pastor of Jesus House, Baltimore, RCCG, Pastor Tola Odutola. Please let's make him welcome. Thank you very, very much, sir. And Pastor Tola, an open invitation to speak at the Elevation Church. You've been here a few times, but you've been a blessing to us, indirectly. Now make it direct. All right. So we're going to work that out. Maybe at your next visit or something. I know your itinerary is quite packed for this visit. Tonight we have in our midst someone who is a consultant with businesses and large churches on leadership and capacity enhancement issues. He conducts leadership conferences across the globe. He has been named in the top 30 global leadership gurus list, serves on the board of Equip. That's Dr. John Maxwell's ministry, equipping 5 million leaders worldwide. He oversees and leads Bishop Eddie Long's leadership development and serves on the board of New Birth Christian Academy and serves on the board of Beulah Heights University. He also was once the president of that university. Dr. Chand has authored many books, including the New York Times bestseller Leadership Pain, which I told you on Sunday that I'm reading, and I was able to give him my feedback today about the book. We're going to try to make the book available in our resource center. The book is going to scare you and then straighten you out. That's the only thing I can say. It scares you a bit and then straightens you out, and then you can project 30, 40 years down the line and know how your life is going to pan out, especially as far as the struggles of leadership, are concerned. It's such a joy to have Dr. Chand in our midst tonight. His specialty is in the area of leadership architect, change strategist, leadership, church growth, and all that. I can go on and on. I've read, I think, about 5 of his books, and I'm getting 2 new ones that I haven't seen before tonight. He's somebody that God has used greatly to bless church leaders and leaders in the corporate world around the world. If you're here tonight, you run a business, you lead a for-profit or non-profit, whatever you do, I'm sure your aspiration is that you become the best in what you do and that your organization should grow. And one thing is very important to growth in anything, that's leadership. We're where we are in Africa because we have not, put enough premium on leadership. And we thank God for the new things God is doing in Africa and bringing us experts that will straighten us out and help us to appreciate the right things. So tonight, I want us to please rise up on our feet, and with a clapping ovation and a standing ovation, I want us to receive to this podium Dr. Sam Chand. Please do it. Let him feel very warm.
Thank you. Please be seated. Please be seated. Please be seated. It's all right. It's not going to hurt anything. No, just leave it there. That's all good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I'm at home. At home, you just put stuff down, right? Mm-hmm. I've looked forward to being here. I love the name of your church, which is what? So you know what that makes you? Elevators. And I just love being around elevators because elevators are never about themselves, are they? Elevators are always about others. So when you get on an elevator, The elevator can take you and can also bring you. So I've looked forward to being here, and then to have a pastor with a wonderful name like Godman. My mama missed. She just called me Samuel. She could have called me Godman. But it's an honor and delight to be with you. And they were telling me that last time they heard me was in Orlando, speaking there for Bishop Jakes. And I'm sorry we didn't get to connect at that place. But it is just amazing the opportunities God gives each one of us to become elevators in their life. And tonight I want to talk to you about leadership excellence. Leadership excellence. One of the elevators in my life is Pastor Tola Ojutola, the founder of Alpha Leadership Conferences and also the founder of Jesus House Baltimore. So I'm here in Nigeria. I've been here a few times, but I'm here and I've come here because he has opened the doors for me. How many of you know that you never get there by yourself? Somebody else has to get you there. Let me say it another way. We have not come here, we have all been brought here. Think of a fence post. If you see a turtle sitting on top of a fence post, you know one thing. The turtle didn't get there by itself. So my dear brothers, turtles and sister turtlettes, we all have to know that somebody has what? Brought us here. Somebody has been an elevator in our life. And I want to thank you, Pastor Tola, for who you are, what you do, and appreciate you so very much. Will you join me in saying thank you to Pastor Tola tonight? I want you to imagine for a moment that you are driving somewhere in the countryside somewhere. You see a white cow, a brown cow, a palomino cow, an off-white cow. You keep on driving, right? But if you looked and saw a purple cow, something like my tie, if you saw a purple cow, what are you going to do? You're going to do what? Stop. And then what are you going to do? Get your camera out. And then what are you going to do? You're going to tweet it, Instagram it, Facebook it, right? LinkedIn. And then when you see somebody else, you're going to say to them, guess what? I saw a purple cow. Because a white cow, you keep on driving. A brown cow, you keep on driving. So why do you stop to see a purple cow? Because there's something, here's the word I want, if you're writing this down, I'm already started teaching. If you are looking for a word, because that purple cow is remarkable. It is what? There's nothing remarkable about a white cow. There's nothing remarkable about a brown cow. But there's something remarkable about a purple cow. My question throughout my presentation tonight, in the next 3 hours or so, yes, just want to see if you're listening. I understand that. Hey, listen, if you don't know, I got a time bomb clicking over here. I got 36 minutes and 34 seconds left, so I got work to do. My question for us throughout tonight will be, what is purple about Elevation Church? Now, I'm in probably 200 churches a year. I see a lot of churches. Buildings don't make you purple. I've been in the most ornate buildings that'll seat thousands of people with 3 balconies and multi-screens, and some churches I go to have elevators inside there. So when I get up there, this is not there, but when I stand up there, the thing just rises like that. I have been in churches where the entire orchestra, after it's done, there's someone pushes a button somewhere and everything goes down. You don't see it anymore. I have been in churches where they can park thousands of cars. I go to churches where they've got a 500 voice choir, everybody in a robe. I've seen it all. My father was a Pentecostal pastor in India, so I was born in church. This October I will turn 63, so I've been in church all my life. What makes a church purple is what I want to talk about tonight. And we will call it leadership excellence. So this morning, I started putting down some fresh thoughts. I had brought some typed up notes, but this is the best I can do. So here are my PowerPoints right here. This is my iPad. Yeah, I can do things with this iPad that you can do with yours. The first thing I want to say to you is there's a difference between excellence and perfection. There's a big difference between excellence and perfection. Let me give you my definition of both of them. Excellence is doing the very best you can. The very best you can. And it focuses on the excitement that it creates that comes with excellence. But perfection is not about excitement. Perfection is about fear. Perfection asks the question, what could go wrong? So if you're looking for perfection, what that will do is put fear in people's hearts. If you're looking for excellence, it'll put excitement in people's hearts. Because perfection is, everything, if they see it this way, they're going to get angry with me. Somebody's going to yell at me. Somebody's going to fight. So if you are worried about what could happen, then you're not doing it with an exceptional heart. You're doing it based out of what? Fear. So there's a big difference between somebody who is driving after perfection and somebody who is trying to have excellence. Excellence says, I'm going to do my very level best. It may not be exactly like you want it, but I'll have an open spirit. If you bring correction to me, I will take that correction and I'll make the adjustment that needs to be made. But perfection says, oh boy, something can go wrong. Because when you have a fearful culture, in my book on Cracking a Church's Culture Code that pastor says that he has read, there's a whole section on fear. Because when people are fearful, there is no innovation. There's no creativity. Nobody offers you the best of their thinking. They're always worried about what could go wrong. In a fearful culture, if you're in a meeting, people start off by saying, now this might be dumb and stupid, but. Because that's a fearful culture. A fearful culture will take away from your excellence. Because in a fearful culture, you cannot have excellence. You will get perfectionism, but you will not get excellence. So what's purple about you? So when I go to a restaurant, let me ask another question. Can you measure, when you walk into a place, now let me ask another way. When you walk into a place, can you tell if it has excellence or not? Of course you can. I walked into this place and I could see excellence. You know why I can see excellence? Because there are no wire stringing everywhere. Does not look like a snake spit. Are you following me? When we drove up here, we were greeted with excellence. So when you go to a restaurant to eat, how do you know it's got an excellence about it? How do you know that? All the way from when you are greeted, is that correct? To how you are seated, correct? To what all is on the table, the attitude of the server. How many of you know that you can have a great meal, But if the attitude of the server is bad, what happens to that meal? Even though you went there to eat, you didn't go there for the attitude. You did not go to say, oh, I hope I get a great server. You went there to what? To eat the food. But that food will get affected by the server. So you can tell the excellence of a restaurant. How about if you go into an office? How many of you love going to government offices? At least one person, some of you work there. Or does anyone ever, is work at government office go together? It might be an oxymoron, huh? Work in you have a job in a government office, but you don't work in a government office. Because you'll get paid regardless if you do it or not do it. If it's your business, yeah, that's the difference between an owner and a renter. So you go into an office, as soon as you walk in, can you tell if it's excellent? Let me ask a church question. When you walk into a church, how many of you have been to other churches? Can I just see your hands? It's all right to raise your hands. All of us were at some other church. Except unless you got saved here for the first time and never been to church in your life before. Okay, how many of you for whom this is the first church you've ever been to in your life? All right, so all have been to us other churches. When you walk into a church, can you tell if it is excellence? Okay, talk back to me. Talk back to me. Somebody just raise your hand and tell me what makes a church excellent. On this side. Okay, nobody on this side. I don't have time to waste. Yeah, somebody on this side. All right, nobody here. Good. Somebody on that far side. Yes, ma'am. Exactly. That's not a trick question. Can I talk to you all? Don't try to be perfect. Thank you, ma'am. So how you greeted by the ushers? You know, when most churches I go to, you know what the ushers and greeters are doing? Greeting each other. So you can tell if some place is excellent. However, nobody ever taught us. We've never had a course. Nobody in this room has ever had a course on a checklist in which you can tick what makes something excellent. But you know it is excellent. I've been married to my wife Brenda for 38 years. 36 years, sorry. That's by faith. 36 years. I just prophesied in a good way, I could have said 34. That would have been very bad. I have two children. They are, both of them are daughters, and I got 2 grandchildren. They're daughters. They're girls. So, my life is surrounded by all these women. So I know all about shopping. I know all about shopping and shoes. There cannot be enough shoes. I don't know. All of them are black, but they're shoes. There's a whole suitcase when we travel. Just for what? What's with that? Help me understand that. When I get to heaven, that's my first question. Jesus, what's this with women and shoes? So I go with my wife shopping, and as soon as we enter a store, there may be a clerk or someone who's serving there, and they ask us, can I help you find something? And our answer is always the same, which is, I'm just looking. Because you may not know what you're looking for, but when you see it, it jumps off the rack and says, take me home, take me home, take me home, take me home, take me home. And then you go into the dressing room and you try it on, and then my wife comes out, asks me a trick question. Does this make me look fat? Now what am I supposed to say? When I said to her, no, she said, you're just saying that. I'm never going to say yes. How many of you know some restaurants that used to be excellent? Used to be. Why does that happen? Two things. One is people's tastes change. And number two is the industry standards change. Now, I've told you I've been in church all my life. How many of you know that churches have not always been air conditioned? Can I see your hands? How many of you remember those 3-4 hour services with no air conditioning? And we all sitting them like this. We're hoping that he would stop. But he keeps going. Because he preaches a sermon, then in conclusion he re-preaches that sermon, and then he says it again. The Holy Spirit left before he stopped. Holy Spirit said, I keep on saying it. Yeah, I've heard it before, I've heard it before, I've heard it before. And that's happened to me when I've been preaching. He walks out on me saying, take care of it. You're doing fine. So we used to go to church. That's how I was raised. My dad preached for 2 hours. Easy. I mean, we cover from Genesis to Revelation and even the books that were not in the Bible. No air conditioning. Now, I'm from India. So in the summertime, it can get 110, 112, 113 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius. It is hot. It is like you're not in hell, but you can feel it. But that's what we did. Try doing a 4-hour service now with no air conditioning. How many of you are going to be honest with me? If I ask you an honest question, just give me an honest answer. No need in missing heaven over this question. It's really not worth it. But I want to know. How many of you would come to this church Sunday after Sunday for 4-hour services with no air conditioning? I want to see your hands. At least you got honest people in this church. Did I see a hand over here? No, you're just scratching your head. All right, yeah. Because church is an industry. Industry standards have changed. You got padded chairs. We didn't grow up on padded chairs. We used to sit on a bench with no back. And you can move around only this much. And your bottom goes to sleep. You sit on your left cheek and your right cheek and run out of cheeks. And then because you are all numb everywhere, you stand up and, ooh, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. Industry standards have changed. Sound systems have changed. I mean, there's a clock over here. If this clock was here, just a few years ago, they would have said, you can't quench the spirit. Well, that clock will quench it in 31 minutes and 2 seconds. It's like, listen, you got 40 minutes. Let the Lord use you in 40 minutes. So excellence is a shifting target. You cannot rest on your laurels and say, hey, we are excellent. No, the question, you're only as good as today. I tell pastors all the time, you're only as good as last Sunday. Not even the Sunday before. Because it's a moving target. Let me tell you a couple other things about that. It is harder to maintain excellence than to create excellence. The maintenance plan is so much work. Okay, don't raise your hands on this one because then people start guessing what she's talking about, kind of thing. Have you ever been to a church that one time was excellent, nice, clean, crisp, good carpet, good floor, good everything. But then you go back in a few months and it is not as excellent. There are cracks in the wall, cracks in the floor. You have to jiggle the toilet a certain way for it to flush. Have you ever been to those Jesus toilets? By faith, You have to just stand just right and move it around before it flushes. You see things that used to be nice and clean and now it looks like somebody's not taking care of it. So it's easier to create excellence, but it's harder to maintain excellence. Let me give you one more thing about that. What you say about your church doesn't matter. Only what they say about your church, what matters. If I'm a restaurant manager and I say, we have the best restaurant, I'm the owner of the restaurant, and I say, we have the best restaurant, that doesn't matter. Somebody tell me what really matters. What the customer says. So if I could use corporate language just for a moment and consider all of us not members but what? Customers. What people say about us when they drive onto our facility. What people say about us when they go to our restroom. The texture of the toilet paper. I'm just trying to keep it real here. Do you have sandpaper? Do you bring your own tissue? I'm just saying to you that what you say, okay, I see churches on the marquee, friendly church, and you go over there and nobody talks to you. I don't care what you say about yourself. What you say about yourself does not matter. It's always about what other people say about you. So we can become keepers of the flock. We can have our own holy huddles. We can tell each other how good we are doing. But your conversations among yourself is not what determines excellence. Excellence is in the eyes of the new person who comes in. How many of you can remember, okay, let me back up a question. How many of you have a job? Can I see your hands? Job. You have a job. J-O-B. Not that you work, but you have a job. Question number 2. How many of you remember your first week on your job? Your new job. First week on the job. You remember that? How many of you remember the first week on your job you said, why do they do it this way? Why don't they do it this way? What's wrong with her? There's an easier way to do this. How many of you remember that? That's what I'm saying. So how do you get to see your church through fresh eyes? What is the system of collecting information? How do you get feedback? And more importantly, how do you not get defensive about what a customer is saying? But say, I'll receive that, I'll check into that, and I'll get back with you about that. Because it's all about customer service. Leadership excellence is about what's purple about you. So excellence, here, if you want to write this down, let me give you the sentence, then I'll unpack it for you. Excellence is not just about the product, it is more about the process. Excellence is not just about the product, which is the what. If you want to write down the word what, W-H-A-T. Excellence is not just about the product, which is the what. It is more about the process, which is how. When you travel, it's never about the plane. I fly a lot. Last year I was on 267 flights. So that's my life. It's never about the plane. It is the ease of travel. It's not the what, it is the how. It's the process. It's how easily can you get your tickets. How easily can you check your bags. If your baggage makes it with you. How many of you had the experience that didn't make it with you? It's not about your website, for example. Businesses have websites. Churches have websites. The question is, how easy is the website? Have you ever gone to a website just to buy something and you have to go through 15 clicks to spend your money on their product? Now the 2-click rule applies. 2 clicks. Because we have found out scientifically that if it is beyond 2 clicks, they're not going to buy. Because we want everything when? Yesterday or now? Even when we pray, we got to do it when? Absolutely. Come on, God. Come on. I know you're eternal, but I don't have eternity. Come on. Hurry. What's wrong with you? Come on. The same thing with church. It is not just how you do church, it is how you receive the people who come to your church. So here's the thing that you need to know about excellence. Excellence is never a thing, it is an experience. Excellence is never a product, it is an experience. I remember the first time I flew Emirates Airlines. Now, when I was preparing this, I tried to figure out how many airlines I've flown in all these years. I've probably flown 100 different airlines, all over South America, all over Africa, and India, and different parts of the world, Australia, New Zealand, so on and so forth. I'd always heard about Emirates. You've seen those T-shirts which say what? Fly Emirates. And this is not a commercial for Emirates, but it is probably. So the first time I flew Emirates, I had never been on Emirates before. As soon as I walked onto Emirates, no one had to tell me. I pulled out my camera. I'm making a video. Now listen, I've been on 100 different airlines. Over I don't know how many thousand flights in my lifetime. But guess what I'm doing? In fact, after this, if you want me to, I've got 3 videos I've saved on my camera. That once in a while I'll sit over there with friends and say, hey, when I flew, one day you will too. Remind me to show you. In my armrest, there's a button and hydraulic drinks come up. They say, we have a chef on board. Here's the menu. Give us 45 minutes and we'll prepare it for you fresh. Not a heater. Chef with a tall cap. Here's your pajamas for you. And while you're changing your pajamas, we'll make your bed for you. If you want to take a shower, we have a shower for you. And if you want privacy, just push this button and the door will close and you'll have your own apartment. I'm not talking about a white cow. I'm talking about something that is what? Purple. I just got information from my office last week that on one of my trips, they are flying me on 2 legs of Emirates. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. Now, the purpose of an airline is what? To get me from point A to point B, safely, securely. You know, people pick me up at airports all over the world and they'll say things like, did you have a good flight? My answer is always the same. I'm here, right? Any flight I can walk away from is a good flight. So the purpose, now the product is what? Transportation, right? Product is to get me from point A to point B. But because industry standards have changed and my thinking has changed, I'm not just looking for a plane to get me from point A to point B. I'm looking for somebody to cook me some food. I'm looking for somebody to make my bed. Give me pajamas. sandals that I can keep, not cloth sandals, leather sandals. You see what I'm doing right now? I saw something purple. And I'm giving you an advertisement for Fly. I'm not just wearing a t-shirt. And that's what happens when people come to a church that is purple. Because when you come to a purple church, you're going to tell everybody about it. You're going to catch the elevation virus. Okay? If I had a bad cold, and I came to the front row here and went and said, achoo! What's going to happen to all of them? They're going to catch a cold. Oh, may people catch the elevation virus because you become sneezers. And when you have an idea virus and you become a sneezer, you're not just talking about come to my church. You're saying, hey, this happens, and then this happens, and then that happens. And if you come, this will happen. We're not talking about a product, we're talking about an experience. So I want to give you a few things on how to create and maintain excellence. Number one, exceed expectations. Exceed what? Expectations. You've heard the saying, under promise and over deliver. You don't have to under promise. People usually don't come with high expectations anyhow. Just exceed expectations in how you meet them, how you greet them, how you dismiss them, how you conduct your services, how people mingle with each other, how you follow up and follow through. What kind of communication do they get from the church? What kind of value system do they have? How do they get assimilated in the life of the church? What are the engagement points? What is the process? What's the pipeline? What's the tracks? How do you make it easy? How can you keep people 2 clicks away from engaging with the church? So people decide to join the church, a large church like this. People decide to join the church on the 3rd visit. If somebody joins your church on the 1st visit, they're not going to last long. Unless it's really, really God, which is very, very rare. It's just, ooh, I feel Jesus. Next Sunday, they're going to be feeling Jesus somewhere else. Because the first Sunday they come, the first weekend they attend your service, it's their anxieties are about the place. Oh, this is a big place. How will I get out of here? What about my children? Oh, this is the biggest church I've ever been to. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do when this is over. They have anxiety about the place. Second Sunday they come, the anxiety is not about the place at all anymore. Now they know where the restrooms are, the toilets are. They know what happened to the children. They know they can get out of here pretty easy. The second time, it's about the people. And they say, oh, okay. I'm okay with the people now. Third time is the same people. How many of you know most people sit in church in their own neighborhoods, right? This side of the church never sits on that side of the church. First of all, you don't like those people. We don't even know who those people are. Yeah, most people lose their salvation if somebody sits in their seat. I know who I'm talking to. So, what happens is that when people come to our church, the first time it's about the place. Second time it's about the people. Third time, no anxiety. Now they're actually engaging because they recognize the people around them. They recognize the greeters, ushers. They recognize the worship leader. They recognize the musicians. They recognize the preacher. They're coming the third time. So, rewind the tape. So when somebody comes for the first time, you just want to make sure that they come back. That's all you're trying to do. That's all you are doing. Because if you get them back third time, they are in all possibility going to join the church. We try to teach them the doctrine of the Trinity and the second coming. and baptism and virgin birth, inerrancy of the scriptures on the first service. Now, first service, we're just doing one thing, which is what? To get them back. Now, if that is what you want to do, then you got to create an experience. That will be what color? Purple. That means all of us in this room will have to become achoo. We have to become what? Sneezers. That means you actually have to be friendly. You have to actually talk to people. Hi, my name is, you give your name. What's your name? Is this your first time here? Oh, you're going to love our church. I've been coming here for whatever time. We would never think of going anywhere else. You know what you're doing? You are achoo. You are sneezing. So maybe instead of elevators, you can become what? Sneezers. But when you sit around somebody ought to get infected by you. Somebody ought to leave saying, you know, that lady sitting next to me, boy, she was just ecstatic. She was excited. She was not overwhelming. She was not trying to take into my space. She was not trying to prophesy over me. Yeah, I say unto thee. No, just, hi, my name is, how are you? Is this your first time here? You're going to love it here. We just love it here. We've been coming here for a number of years. My family, I never think of going anywhere. Oh, you're going to love have you heard our pastor preach before? Oh, you're going to love his preaching. He's going to make it very simple. After the service, I want to introduce you to a few people that I know. I'm talking about creating that's what leadership excellence is all about. Let me give you another one. You exceed expectations. Leadership excellence about future thinking. About what? You cannot create Hello? You can't create excellence it's always about so you have to be thinking about what does the customer need. So the telephones that you and I carry, is there somebody somewhere sitting in California or Beijing, China, or my country of India? You know, when you have computer problems, you talk to people who sound like me. And then you yell at me for no reason. Because you think that I'm not understanding you, but you're not understanding me. Neither one of us understanding each other. So you start yelling at me. It's not the raising the volume, it's just different issue going on there. But somebody is not thinking about 2015. Right now, people are thinking about 2020, 2025. Because those who get ahead of the game can create an experience for that time. When you create an experience for that, people know that you are cutting edge. There's no such thing as cutting edge in the past. To be cutting edge, you got to be out front. That's what a leader does. So when you talk about leadership, what was the next word? Excellence. Leaders are not behind. Leaders are in the front, but they're leading how? They're leading excellently. So number one is exceed expectation. Number two is what? Future thinking. Number two is inviting engagement and empowering others. Inviting engagement and empowering. One more time. Inviting what? And empowering. My generation, when we went to church, we were just happy to go to church. But in this room, Pastor, I'm really excited to see a lot of young adults. My older daughter is 35, my younger daughter is 33. They just don't want to go to church. They want to go and get what? Engaged. But they want to get engaged by somebody who will not keep them down, but they will do what? They will empower. Can I tell you the best use of power? The best use of power is to give power away. You want to be more powerful? I'm going to tell you how to become more powerful. For you to become more powerful, make other people around you more powerful. Okay, watch me. Everyone, look at me for a minute. If I'm keeping you down, where am I going? If I am lifting you up, where am I going? As simple as that. When you empower others, you create an experience that they talk about. Hey, when I came to the church, there were gifts in my life, talents in my life, passions in my life. I had some dreams. I wanted to do a few things. And guess what? This church, there are people in the church who will help you achieve your dreams. Because that becomes something that is what? Purple about Elevation Church. So, organizational excellence is about four things. Organizational excellence about four things. Let me give you all four and then talk about each one of them. In case you're wondering, our 8 minutes and 46 seconds left here. Character, number one. Competence, number two. Culture, number three. And capacity, number four. The first one is what? Character. Number two is competence. Number three is culture. Number four is capacity. Let's make sure we get that. Now, number one is what? Character. Number two is, number three is, number four is. Let me give you just 45 seconds behind each one of them. Because each one of those asks a question. Here's the question. Character asks the question, can I trust you? When people come to our churches, if they are going to get engaged, it will not be because of preaching. It will not be because of the choir. It will not be because of the music. It will not be because of the location. It will not be because of the programs. When people are going to get engaged in our church, and I'm talking about leadership excellence, the first thing looking for is, can I do what I can trust you? Because how many of you know that people have been hurt in church somewhere? So a lot of hurt people come to church. And when hurt people come to church, is their trust level high or trust level low? So at that time, I'm not trying to get them all stirred up. All I'm trying to do is just live my life consistently in front of them so they can answer the question, yes, I do what? Trust you. The second word is what? Competence. Competence is, can they actually do the job? Can the singer actually sing? Have you ever been to church in which you say, why do they have her singing? She can sing. Come down, come down. I don't sing, but I can do better than that. People may never have taken a voice lesson, but they know when it's bad singing. You with me on that? People may have never, where's the drums? Where are the drums? People may have never played the drums, but they know when he is a loser. Are you with me on that? Mm-hmm. See, you don't have to go to a university to figure out what is excellent. You know excellence when you see excellence. So the first question is character, which asks the question, what? Can I trust you? Number two is competence. Can you do the job? Number three is culture. Culture asks the question, do I fit here? Do I do what? Fit here. Do I fit here? So when you go to church, you're always looking for someone like you. We call that the homogeneous principle. We're always looking for someone like ourselves. So Indians start churches in America, and guess who's in the church? Koreans start churches, who's there? Nigerians start churches, who's there? Because it's the homogeneous principle. But that's beyond ethnic. When I go to church, I'm looking for some old folk like me. That's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody with some white. I know some of you have colored it. I can tell which one of you are using shoe polish. It's the homogeneous principle. That's what happens. Okay, do I fit here? So the first word is what? Character. And the first word is character, which asks the question, can I trust you? Number two is, which asks the question. Number three is which is, as a question, the fourth one is more important in 2015 than it's ever been. And I want to talk to how many of you are 40 and over. Can I see your hands? 40 years of age and over. Don't even lying about this, ladies. Come on. And men too. Okay. How many of you are 39 and younger? Can I see your hands? How many of you haven't been born yet? Some of you just don't know where you fit. So I'm going to ask that question again. How many of you are 39 and younger? You didn't know that earlier? We need to talk. Because some challenges here. I'll call you out. I'm going to have an altar call for liars. And I think I can fill up this altar just by giving a lying. So, the fourth one is more important now than ever before. And here's the question. The word is what? The word is what? Capacity. Here's the question. Can I grow here? Not can I hear good sermons here? Not is this a good location? Not do they have good worship and praise and music and choir? 39 and younger? This question is more important today than ever before. Because now, my generation was just happy to go to church and be there. We gave a tithe offering, praise the Lord, shook the preacher's hand. Most of Sundays we lied to him, said that was really good, and we moved on. Because you got to say something, right? But now, it is, can I do what? Grow here. I got 2 minutes and 35 seconds left. Leadership excellence is never a product. It's about doing what? Creating an experience. So what is purple about Elevation Church? The last thing I want to say to you about that is someone is watching you all the time. Just know that. Somebody is watching you how often? All the time. So when you talk about leadership excellence, I can tell who is exceptionally excellent, who is mediocre excellence, who is below average excellence, who is zero excellence. I can tell by just how people walk. I can tell about how they can read your mind and be anticipating. I can tell about how if somebody comes in, they can make room for them. I can tell when a lady has a purse sitting next to her and there's somebody who needs that space and they keep looking at them like, move your purse, lady. Happened to you tonight, didn't it? But no. I mean, it's like, you stupid? You blind and stupid? Because excellence is never a product. It is always an experience. Somebody's always watching you. And I want to leave you with something my mama taught me. I don't know why I remember this. She taught me so many things all my life. She died in 1982. She taught me so many things, but I remember only a few. And I'm going to tell you what she said to me again and again and again. This is what she said. She said, Samuel, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better best. I'm going to say that for you again. I got 24 seconds. Come on, Pastor. We don't want to waste time over here. Good, better, best. Everyone together. Good, better, best. Number 2 line. Never let it rest. Never let it rest till your good is and your better best. Let's do that again in honor of my mama. That's all right. 1, 2, 3. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your and your. One more time. One more time. One more time. Good class. Good class. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. Good class.